We're rapidly running out of time, as you're probably all aware, and we've still got quite a ways to go. We're going to hear from 3 Irish speakers next, and then we're going to hear from another academic, and we also have a bit of a treat in store. I believe we have a special screening of a special DVD, but I'll let the academic tell you about that when we reach that stage. We still need to keep moving on this. So I'd like to welcome one of our Irish ex-Scientologists, John McGhee.
Good evening, and thank you. And welcome to any members of OSA that might be lurking beneath those masks. You're very welcome. We want you here. So anyway, I was a Scientologist, very active for 3 years. I went in 2005. And initially it was the controversy surrounding Scientology that attracted me in the first place, because I was looking for something a bit left of centre, a bit weird. So I didn't realise how weird it would turn out to be, and expensive at that. So I went into the mission to take a stress test that was advertised outside, and straight away when that was finished I immediately asked for the personality test. When that was finished, I bought the Dianetics book and I asked to be signed up on course. They didn't have to ask me anything to sign up for anything. I regged them in this instance. So signed up on course. First course was personal values and integrity. Once I'd finished that, there's tremendous pressure to get you on staff, despite the fact you might have only been there 2 weeks. They bring you sign you up for your next course and reg you for staff. They completely love bomb you, make you feel very welcome, make you feel worthy of the help they wish to bestow upon you. But I use that word bestow very loosely because you pay for it. So I knew from the word go that something wasn't quite right about the organisation. You know, they're applauding to pictures of L. Ron Hubbard, which I could never ever do, no matter how zealous I was. However, I was willing to turn a blind eye to the things I didn't like if it delivered what it said. So I was willing to sell my soul for a good earthly existence, so to speak, you know, if I could get affluent and empowered by the courses they were offering. So within a short amount of time, somebody heard I had no real expense, like a mortgage or anything like that, so they said, this guy's a lot of free cash, you know. Sign him up try and get him for the Purif. So that's what happened. Did the Purif, 30 days. It took me, despite the fact I never did drugs, so I really don't know how that worked. So halfway through, about 15 days through, I was pulled out of the Purif to see had I completed it. And well, it cost me €600 for the pleasure of finding out I hadn't finished the Purif. I was put on the cans. So back in for another 15 days. So I finally finished and signed up for about €3,000 worth of life repair. Now, there was nothing really wrong with my life at the time, but like I said, I was willing to give it a shot, and I had the money. Like, I didn't take out a remortgage like I saw so many people doing. But the thing with Scientology is, no matter what problem you have in your life, they claim to have a solution for it. Like if you have trouble with your girlfriend, they'll fix that for you. If you don't like your job, they'll make you like your job and have fun in your job by signing you up to the ridiculous problems of work course that's basically telling you what you learn in primary school about working. But there's tremendous pressure every week to get funds into the bank account by 2 p.m. on a Thursday. And this money is all sent up lines to international levels. The pressure is so great on the staff members that they'll even get you to sign up for courses that you might not be able to do realistically for months and months because you're busy on a current course. But they'll reg you for these future courses just to get their points high enough to compete in the International Birthday Game. I've seen a lot of, I've heard a lot of crazy claims in Scientology, like the ethics officer would encourage you, if you had a dispute with somebody, to sort it out within Scientology, within the confines of Scientology, using the tech of Scientology, and not get the law involved, basically. So this applies to any crime between you and another Scientologist at the time. this ethics officer, in particular, I won't give her name, but she's married to the mission holder. If you can narrow that down, they're from opposite ends of the country, the two furthest ends. Well, she also claimed that Scientology was more important than her, at the time, 6-year-old daughter. And she said that the choice between the two was a no-brainer, that Scientology was going to save the planet, and the flesh and bone that her daughter embodied wasn't, you know. So I found this very disturbing, but I was in my early stages and I figured they know more than me, and like I say, I'd turn a blind eye if it was going to work for me. I've seen long-term staffers having to remortgage their homes, despite the fact that being a staff member is supposed to entitle you to free auditing and services. Some of the claims I've heard in there were that if somebody is handicapped or unfortunate or homeless, that they deserve this because they pulled it in because of maybe past life transgressions. And their only way to resolve this was to, do Scientology, but they're not in a position to practice it. Reincarnation was another crazy claim I used to hear about in there. In Dublin Mission alone, we have had a Michael Collins, we have had an Elvis, and the Purify C, Mr. Mulcahy at the time, he is a male, obviously. He was a female prostitute in a previous life. And he had to audit this out. Now, the guy is absolutely nowhere on the bridge, you know? So, yeah, oh yes, we've had a James Dean in Dublin Mission also. He's now reincarnated as a Fair City actor, would you believe? Whoa! You know? Now, our auditor, let's just call him Mr. S. He had an unnatural obsession with sex. Like, he used to go so far as, what did you do with the sperm? You know, if you confessed to having a wank when you were 14, you know? So, he was also another man who ridiculed openly the handicapped, even doing actual physical impressions of them from across the table as me. So, what finally made me wake up, I suppose, was when my twin, my TRs and objectives twin, had quite a bad reaction to a process we were carrying out in the course room. We were carrying out objective auditing, which is supposed to bring the person into present time. It consists of walking to opposite ends of the room, touching the wall, and this is supposed to turn on a reaction in the person. It's usually meant to be a positive reaction that frees the person. But in this case, I watched my twin having something akin to a mental breakdown in front of my very eyes. Now, I'm no mental health expert, but a layman can see this, what happened. His whole tone level dropped and he started asking for help immediately. This is very disturbing to see because there's nothing I could do to help him. I brought him into this state by the auditing I was carrying out. But I could not release him from it because it's pure quackery. Like, nobody in Scientology has experience of psychology, psychiatry, or even mere counselling. So I had to summon the course supervisor, who also knows nothing about matters of the mind, who in turn summoned the auditor, need I say more, who came in to my twin and said to him that he would have to have a session of repair auditing, which could be only carried out in St. Hill in England, at the cost of roughly €4,000. And he was not willing to repair the man until he coughed up the £4,000 first. So my twin was left in this mental state to this day, actually, because I met the man 2 years ago for a coffee and he said he never had the repair done. So, but this very twin is loyal to Scientology and has ceased speaking to me. So, from the moment myself and my twin separated in that course, I was through with Scientology in my mind, but I remained going in, doing small courses, doing the basic study manual, starting the Dianetic book and lecture course, but I'd already clocked out in my mind. But I remained in and started hooking up with the anonymous guys and other anti-Scientology activists, and I was feeding information out to those guys. I was spying on the mission, basically. I was being two-faced, I know, but they deserve it. And So I was going into course, staring at the desk because I did not have the motivation anymore to read the rubbish that was in front of my eyes. And in 2009, before I went on course, actually, I entered Eason's across the road from the mission, bought John Digna's book, couldn't wait to read it, but still went on course. Went home, started reading, couldn't put it down until it was finished, and that was me sold. Then with the help of watching, I had a lot of idle time then because I wasn't interested in course anymore, so I did what they told me never to do, and that's go on the internet. So this I did, Google Scientology, which I never did before, and I discovered Jerry Armstrong and Tori Chrisman, who we have the pleasure of being with today. And they thankfully steered me away from the ridiculous independent and free zone movement which I was about to embark on. So just so that was it. I was glad I didn't go there. Just straight in, no kissing, just get out of the cult and that's it. So well, that's really all I have to say on the matter. So we have quite a bit to get through still. So thanks very much for your time. Good evening, and thank you. And welcome to any members of OSA that might be lurking beneath those masks. You're very welcome, we want you here. So anyway, I was a Scientologist, very active for 3 years. I went in 2005, and initially it was the controversy surrounding Scientology.
We're rapidly running out of time, as you probably have a special DVD, but I'll let the academic tell you about that when we reach that stage. We still need to keep moving on this. So I'd like to welcome one of our Irish ex-Scientologists, John McGhee.
Scientology that attracted me in the first place because I was looking for something a bit left of centre, a bit weird. So I didn't realise how weird it would turn out to be, and expensive at that. So I went into the mission to take a stress test that was advertised outside.
We're all aware, and we've still got quite a ways to go. We're going to hear from 3 Irish speakers next, and then we're going to hear from another academic, and we also have a bit of a treat in store. I believe we have a special screening